I'd like to explain to you on how to hear the voice of God for yourself. That is kind of what this mission is all about. Now, as long as you follow these little steps and you understand the importance of these steps, then I have no doubt, I have no doubt that it's going to work out well for you. So the cartoons we all grew up with tried to explain to us that we have this little red devil dude and little angel dude on the other side. It was trying to explain to us that there are two inner voices, but it also explained that there was us in the middle that other teachers have explained is built into you, me, myself, and I, and that the overall you, your subconscious. There is one more, but we're not discussing that right now. So, to hear Father's voice, uh, there is the tapestry of the weave that you have to acknowledge that you have perhaps had misguiding before you could ever approach. You know, some people call them sins. The list thou shalt not do's and don'ts that just about every religion has. But most of those lists, Father doesn't even have, his list doesn't compare to those. Father's list is mostly spiritual. Actions has a lot to say, but that bleeds over into that as above, so below thing. So to hear Father's voice, you have to. How do you want me to put this right here, folks, that you don't get offended? You have to confess your sins. What are sins? You'll know about the time you need to confess them. You know, all those booty calls, all those sins. Sins. You know what sins are. You know right from you were born yesterday. So, upon to confess it, that's all he wants. That's all he wants. Just confess them. How do you start that out with? Here's mine. Jesus gave us an example. He didn't tell us to recite it. They asked, Master, please show us how to pray. And then he had his, his prayer. It was not built to recite. I just asked Father for forgiveness for my sins, transgressions, iniquities, sins of omission, sins of commission. Now, if there are anything hidden in there that are blatant, like you cussed your sister out, somebody walked off your job, whatever. Well, how about this? How about this? How about this? Anything that goes against your intuition. If it went against your intuition and you knew that you should not have done it, then that would be one of those things that perhaps you should confess out loud. And the reason you're having to do this is that Father won't hear you if you're holding alt against your brother. If you just can't forgive someone, well, Father's not going to hear you at all. He just not. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. That he's not. God will not forgive you until you forgive your brother. So if you're holding on to anger, bitterness, or anything against anyone else, it's not going to work. It's just not. Forgiveness is pretty easy. It's your free will choice, and that's one of those things that you can just say, Father, I choose to forgive so and so. It's my free will choice. I choose to forgive them and be done with it. But mean it and go about your business. Don't go home and pick up the telephone and repeat the story. Now you just picked it back up. Just go about your business. So back to hearing Father's voice. You have to come to Father like a child. Now you can come boldly and you can be mad, screaming and hollering, but don't ever disrespect Father. To show Father reverence, but Father's not so worried about what humans call curse words. God don't care. I withheld them from my mouth my first 10 years with Father, and I boiled over very angry at someone one day, and a volcano of them just come pouring out, and it was, to a self-promoted individual that was appalled at such words coming out of my mouth. It didn't even know I knew such things. And it was very freeing, but unnecessary. But Father explained to me shortly after that how that he doesn't acknowledge. I'm not going to repeat them here. I could. Ask me in private. Um, all the big ones that we all say. There's a whole list of them. That he doesn't acknowledge them as cuss words or curse words or profanity. They're letters, nouns, and vowels all shoved together to formulate something that is not even a meaning of what it is. Uh, we could pick on the word F-U-C-K. It was originally fornication under the consensus of the king, but it was, call that synonym, anagram. I don't know. At this minute, I don't care. I have more important things occupying my mind, trying to get you to hear Father's voice. So if you get all the crap out of the way, you want me to cut to the chase? You get all the crap out of the way. Get all your sins and all that other crap out of the way. You shouldn't have too much of a problem. Don't tell me you don't hear him. You might have the inner knowing, like a lot of people do. I don't know. It might be something special that you hear his voice. But I know people that do, very clearly. I know I'm not the only. But there's a lot of people that believe they're talking to Father, and it's not Father at all. It's in fact our enemy, because most of certain religions all have that same, you know, voice talking to them, all feeding their belief systems. And each one of those groups have a different God, so they all say, giving them a different answer, a different message to the world. But now all of a sudden here, everyone has a very similar message, telling humanity to hurry up and wake up, all this other stuff. But even though I did it for my own reasons, trying to explain to people that they're running out of time. Oh, I ran around this planet for 30 years trying to explain to people, you're running out of time, you're running out of time. And perhaps some of them thought I meant this, and I actually was referring to that. And that always changed depending on the person. However, it's not complicated to hear Father's voice. You just have to be willing to hear his voice. It's not hocus pocus. There's not out there somewhere. There's literally inside of you. And I know some of you still don't believe even that. But if you go, rather than me go back through it in this video, if you go listen to a huge extrapolation all the way to the end of my video on Words of an Oracle, it explains a lot of that. Then we come back over here to hearing Father's voice, because you're going to have to test the voice that speaks and claims to be God, because now that you've opened up a pathway, a portal, if you will, that's what it is. You've opened up a portal now that you've asked for forgiveness, and by faith you have to believe that your Creator has done what you've asked, forgiving you. If He didn't forgive you, but that would kind of be rude, wouldn't it? I mean, why would they make you stand on your head and do 40 this and 80 that? And why? Why? To make you suffer more. That doesn't sound like a very kind creator that claims to be full of love. So, once all of that is out of the way, you need to understand that it's literally inside of you. He's not separate from you. You can go to that video I keep telling you about, Words of an Oracle. Go follow some of those instructions, and there it tells you how to see Father, find Father. Now I'm trying to explain to you how to hear Father. And they all go hand in hand. Really. It's like the gift of sight. Your mind has to be able to handle it. Father can only deem that. But he said ask. If you want the gift, just ask, and those gifts. But he also said that you have not because you ask not, and you have not because you asked me amiss. Asked me for trash. Timothy's analogy. So at whatever point, I just kept asking Father to equip me with tools, supernatural gifts, tools, and talents, and help me to understand how to use those resources, what have you, to, through gifts, tools, talents. I've lived a very impoverished life, just now finding out that great many of it's been to the witchcraft involved. And you know, it's disturbing to know what I know right now. That's all I'll say about that.